First of all, thank you guys so much for giving me some of your time. Watch the first 8 episodes. Absolutely loved it. Like I'm a big Sonic fan. Even I gotta show you these. I'm a fan. Like
Oh,
diehard.
we
I'm
got
a
it. All
diehard,
right. All right.
diehard
All
fan.
right.
So I want to say thank you guys so much for killing it. So firstly, definitely you said you originally grew up watching the show and you kind of related more to Tails. So what is it like for you now, years later, to be the voice of Sonic for a new generation?
Oh man, I didn't even believe it was real. When I got that phone call, I'm like, this is a joke. Where the hidden cameras at? Nah, nah, nah. Uh so yeah, it's a lot. But again, I've gotten so much great stuff to work with. It's such a really, really cool and interesting story to tell here. Uh, and
Absolutely.
again, Tails being my boy, I love that there's a really, really unique dynamic that we get to explore with the New York City Shatterverse version of him, who never grew up having a Sonic in his life, how that affected him, how that changed him.
Mm.
So seeing where that story went is something that like hit me emotionally, and then I was able to carry that through Sonic with these genuine reactions to seeing my boy like, oh no, what happened to you? What can I do? How can we fix this? So again, it's just been a really, really cool roller coaster ride of a journey to get to go on, and I'm loving every second of it.
Absolutely, man. And Logan, for you, with the studio, this is biggest project that you guys have taken on. So can you just talk about that a little bit? Because I thought the CGI, the animation looked absolutely fantastic and cinematic. So can you talk about your approach to building this world out?
Yeah, absolutely. We worked really closely with Sega to ensure that it had authenticity and the characters felt like the real versions of the characters. But at the same time, we're telling a high concept, crazy, insane sci-fi, story that needs to have a lot of, fantastical elements and rich worlds and different landscapes and stuff like that. So Sega actually sent us the game character models, and we imported those into our pipeline, and then we innovated on the texturing and the surfacing of the characters themselves. We wanted to create something that was obviously the design and the proportions are all familiar from the games, but some a little different that fit into the worlds that we were building and describing. So we came up with this kind of graphic texture treatment, a little more simplified than the realistic quills would be for Sonic and his friends. And that allowed us to bring in both like an appealing cartoony aspect, but a light realism in terms of like lighting and mood and tone. There's real grass, there's real foliage in the world, but at the same time, it's got that stylized feel that I think helps integrate the kind of cartoony design that the characters have into these at times very serious and crazy worlds that we were building. So it definitely pushed our production capability. We innovated in a number of areas and brought new technique to the table. And it was, just an amazing experience to go through, quite honestly.
I felt like your character, like your voice for Sonic, is like it feels like a culmination of the past Sonics we've gotten, just like blended into one. Can you just talk about how you approach bringing your own flavor and your own style to this new Sonic?
I mean, that's very much what it is. It's not like I specifically focused on any one individual who played Sonic before, and everybody brought something amazing and incredible to the table. But I didn't look at anyone in particular and say, that's my guy. I'm doing that. I just sort of took it all in and said, okay, here's this kind of amalgam of everything that I've heard. I'm gonna put my own sort of unique spin dash on there, and again, I've just been given so much room to play and have fun with it and sort of make it my own while still being familiar. And again, I've really, really enjoyed seeing it come together. The animation team at Wild Brain have done an amazing job. And again, it still doesn't feel real when I'm watching that. But it still feels like it's Sonic. Just happens to be my voice somehow.
What was that first feeling like after seeing the first Lock episode in its full glory?
For me, it was like exhilarating joy to get that episode finished because it had been in development for so long, and we'd been writing
Oh,
and
yeah.
rewriting and boarding and reboarding, and it was so important to us that we got it right, and we were going to ensure that we took the time to do that, and if we had to redo some stuff, we did. And to have Sega and Netflix both at the table and Man of Action It was a pretty amazing group, and there's a lot of big creative brains in that room, and a lot of ideas. And it really was like best idea wins. What makes sense for the show? What makes sense to ensure we're honoring the legacy of Sonic and the franchise and the property as a whole, but taking it in new directions. Um, so yeah, it was that tight collaboration that everybody brought a little something to the table. Really made it special. The feeling of getting that first episode done when we were in the mix and we're doing the final sound design and the music and putting the sound in there. I can remember just kicking back in the theater and just like, we did it, we got it done. It was a pretty amazing feeling.
Oh, I need to see. We got to do like until Netflix do like a 2-week release special for the first couple episodes in theater. That would be glorious. Like it is the like the animation really does feel cinematic. I feel like it's on par like with like Incredibles, and especially how you guys use the camera movement and angles to like really enhance those action scenes.
Oh, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into that. So yeah, it's nice to hear that it's being received.
Deven, what about you? What was your first initial reaction after seeing the first locked episode and seeing you fully as Sonic?
It was all just like, wow. Animation is just next level. It looks so good. Like you said, it's that cinematic quality right there. And again, for me watching it, I'm just like, that how because I was the shyest kid in school. I was not supposed to be doing stuff like this, and yet I am. So that just kind of just shows like anything can happen if you really kind of work hard enough. But again, everybody did such an amazing job. It's made with so much love, and it really shows in that final product. And I've loved watching it, and I think other people will as well.
So next question I just got to talk to you guys about was the ensemble cast. Like Logan, specifically for you as well. Can you just talk about how you guys chose the character uses and like the different variations we got to see across the Shatterverse? Because I thought those are some new interpretation of characters for these characters that we haven't seen before, which I thought was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. With the Shatter versions of the characters, we looked to draw upon a unique quality that each Prime character already has, brings to the table, and then take that element and put it into overdrive. So, with Amy, there's multiple versions of Amy that exist within the Shatterverse. Amy from Boskage Maze, who is Thornrose, her love of nature and her protective side is in overdrive. And so we tried to look at the aspects of their personalities and figure out what could we embellish to make it really rich for storytelling and plunge Sonic into like crazy, super fun and entertaining scenarios. So we did that with all the Shatter version characters. We really looked at what's an aspect of the Prime character that we could take and embellish. With Eggman, it was like he's beaten Eggman a million times. We know he can beat him. So what can we do with Eggman that would present a new challenge and something unexpected for the audience? And because when Sonic shattered the prism, he's at ground zero. So he was effectively unaffected by the prism energy. Eggman was next closest. So we felt like the way the prism energy radiated out from the prism could affect Eggman a little bit differently than it did the other Shatter versions. And it was Man of Action that came up with the idea, well, what if we split his age range and we got an Eggman at every different, age group, from a baby to a geriatric guy. And we could have a ton of fun, not only with like how badass that council could be as a villain, but the dynamics within that group and how ridiculous a baby version of Eggman is and the comedy that comes from that. So it was just a ton of fun to explore. And that's what made the Shatterverse concept so rich to us, is like we could have these sort of pillars in place with Green Hill and establishing the sort of traditional environment that everybody loves, and then take it into wildly new directions at the same time.
Last question for you, Deven. Now that you're one of the new voices for Sonic, what do you hope people who this might be their introduction to Sonic take away at?
Honestly, what I think is so cool about Sonic is that he can be for everybody. Sonic's got that kind of universal appeal. Like it doesn't matter where you come from, what you look like. This can be a character that anybody can relate to. So honestly, I just hope that what kids can take away from it is just that sense of kind of growing to know yourself better, doing like inner reflection at this to try to grow stronger, to try to help people around you. And that's the thing about Sonic that I think is probably the most endearing for me. The fact that he cares so much about his friends. He wants to do the right thing. He wants to stand up for what's right. And he's fearless in doing so. Again, it's just a character with so much appeal that has helped so many people. I know a character helped me as a shy kid growing up. So to be able to contribute to that legacy is, again, just a huge honor, a huge blessing. I'm just very grateful to get to be part of it.
Man, I cannot wait to see more. So and Logan, last question, wrapping up. Logan, so I know we got to confirm 24 episodes. So how is that going to roll out? What's like the timeline for that? Like, are we going to release them all at 24 episodes? We're going to do like because I know we only got to see the first 8. So like, what are we looking at like for the release schedule? Because I need the rest.
Well, all I can say is the first 8 are dropping December 15th on Netflix. Beyond that, we made more episodes and they're coming out. That's all I can say.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for giving me some of your time. I cannot wait to see the rest of the series, and I can't wait for the Sonic fandom to get more Sonic because this is his year. Sonic 2, Sonic Frontiers. It's amazing. So thank you guys so much. You have a great rest of your day.